Jablonski's always good. Devin Ziegler's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other guys.
I'll go ahead then.
Yeah.
Here with Concordia head football coach Patrick Daberkow to preview the 2023 season. This is year 7 as a head coach for you. I guess first off, what have you enjoyed kind of most about the role, the previous 6 years as head coach?
Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy about it. And I was telling somebody this morning, as an assistant coach, you make suggestions, and as a head coach, you make decisions. And I experienced a big gap. Like that was a more of a weight than I thought it would be, but it's been a lot more fun than I thought it would be too. So I don't know. This is like my dream job. So I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Last year's team took a little bit to kind of settle in. I know there were some injuries to an offensive line, and then a change at quarterback. What factors maybe you feel like are in place to kind of hit the ground running this year?
We feel like we worked out a lot of our kinks last season, and really had some guys step up into roles that we didn't, a year ago, going into our first game, where we were at compared to where we're at this year. Like I feel a lot more confident, just because there was some unknowns going into last season. We feel like we have a lot of those pieces in place now, and I just love the leadership of our locker room. I think our upperclassmen do a really good job, and we have some extra coaches that are on staff that have just made a huge impact, and so we're really excited about what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way the offense operated in 2022 was maybe a little bit different from some traditional Concordia teams. School record for passing yards in a single season. And how do you kind of expect that to look this year? I don't know if you're looking for better balance run pass wise, but how are things developing?
Yeah, yards and points are what I care about. That's it. First downs. I don't care how we get them. Like if we have to run a fake field goal every down to get points, we'll do that. We are comfortable doing things that we haven't done before if they're going to be effective, and trying out new things is fun. And so last year was. We had some things that were broken. We had to just fix it, and this year we feel like we can get creative with things and have some more fun with what we build. Kind of doubling down on what we already know we can execute and what we can coach, and being able to move forward with that, I think, is going to be helpful.
Now at quarterback, DJ McGarvey put together one of the better statistical seasons for a quarterback at Concordia. What have you noticed about his growth since last season?
Oh, he's gotten better every year that he's been here. He's a competitor. He knows football so well, and Coach Nelson, our quarterback's coach, has just done a great job with that whole room. Our quarterback play has really improved, and it's been really, really fun to see DJ step into a leadership role, and he knows the mistake. If there's a mistake that's made, he knows about it before you can even talk to him about it. Like he knows what went wrong, and he can diagnose things and troubleshoot things. Just really have a high level of trust with him, and just love his leadership.
Up front, offensive line, I know that was a position group that had some injuries last year, and you had to shuffle things around a little bit. How are things progressing there? I assume it's in maybe better shape than it was in the middle of last year.
Well, we're in better shape. Yeah, in that we our injury list isn't as long as it was, but that's part of the game of football. Football will test your depth, and so for us to be able to have guys who got experience last year step into who were kind of shoved into starting roles last year, now they've been more conditioned for it and they're ready for it. We always want all of our guys to be ready for it, but when the bullets start flying, you really get to see how you perform. And I'm just really, really proud of the work that's gone with that group. Coach Cook and Coach Simnacker really do a good job with those guys, and I think we get the most out of our talent at those spots.
Wanted to touch on kind of the skill players that you have around offensive line and quarterback. I think a lot of people are going to know about Austin Jablonski and some of the things that he did last year. Of course, you replaced Karel Kolmus, who had a great year, but what is your comfort level, I guess, with running back and receiver right now? Yeah,
so it's kind of by committee with everything. We're trying to bring up the last guy on the depth chart. We're trying to coach him just as hard as the guy that's at the top of the depth chart, and it gets down to when you got to break off into scout teams, you put depth charts out, and getting guys to own their role and be excited about it, whether it was the role that they set their goal out to achieve or not. I think is really important, and so our guys are they're really compete. Like right now, like we're just coming off the heels of fall camp, and so it's just been highly competitive. It's been good to see that group kind of come together and gel. We got guys, while you're fighting for playing time, you're also trying to and you see guys competing for playing time, but then they're also like helping each other make sure that there no mental mistakes are being made, and that we're using proper technique and making plays. It's fun to see that come together. But we're excited about some new faces. We feel like you mentioned Jablonski. I think he's one of the most coachable guys that I've ever been around, and one of the best, probably one of the best athletes that we've had since I've been coaching here. So super excited about that group. Really expect a lot out of them this year.
On the defensive side of the ball, there's a lot coming back up front. Also have your leading tackler back, Michael Driddy. How do you kind of assess that front seven and just how critical they are to succeeding against some really good offensive teams in the GPAC?
Yeah, everything starts and ends in the trenches. If you ask me, I think whether you're facing a team that runs flex bone triple option or an air raid offense, if you can own the line of scrimmage, you're setting yourself up for success. So we're excited to get those guys back. We will have a lot. There's a lot of energy in that front seven. Guys who really love the hit, love physical contact, and don't ever want to come out of games. That like they're not going to be tapping their helmets. They're just real guys who really are about the game of football and just embody it. And so I'm excited about our D-line, linebackers, and how they just kind of embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Michael Driddy was somebody who maybe people didn't know a whole lot about until last year and really broke out. I don't know if you don't necessarily have to name names, but do you feel like there are some of those stories waiting to happen, maybe especially on defense?
Yeah, I don't know of any story that's quite like Grindy's. We don't have any other 23 or 24. He might be 26 by now. I don't know how old Michael is, but yeah, he's got an awesome story how God brought him here. And the rest of that linebacking core is they're just blue collar lunch pail guys. I think of Downs, and I think of CJ Deercup and Michael Doyle, and anytime you name names, you leave guys off. But Hoos is another one. You're probably going to hear his name. And there's probably going to be some young guys that emerge from that group that will get some playing time too. And but yeah, it's a hard-working group.
DJ McGarvey had talked about trying to hit 34 points a game, and I think over the last 6 games last year you were really close to that as an average. Is that kind of something you're talking about, how this could be a kind of a more explosive offense again this year? Yeah,
I don't think we've ever set out to not score points, so I think it's a reflection of doing other things right. So 34 points is a fun goal to have. It's just us going, okay, listen, when we've scored 34 points over the last 6 years, we've never been beat. There are statistics that you can circle like that, but scoring 34 points per game is, I mean, you can slide that scale, you know, like, I'd like to score more than that, you know, and
Right.
so we don't want to put a lid on anything. We just have some statistical categories that we've identified that go, okay, listen, if we're hitting these marks, other marks are going to be hit. But it all starts with giving great effort and being locked in and focused. So you got to start there if anything's going to be a reality.
Mm-hmm. About on special teams, you're going to have new kicker, new punter from a year ago. How is the kicking game coming along?
I think we're making really good progress. It was fun to see in the scrimmage last week. Had some balls get kicked out the back of the end zone, and we did not miss any PATs or field goals. So it's good.
Right, good start.
Yeah.
As things stand right now, what do you feel like might be the biggest difference from 2023 compared to 2022 team?
Well, it's a different year. Other than that, you know, it's every team has its own unique kind of identity. I'm really excited about how our staff has embraced, you know, just what we're trying to build as far as building up young men to grow in their faith and compete for a GPAC title. You know, like that's something that we want to do. And we talk about if we're serious about that, then the steps that we take, like the direction of our feet. It's the direction of your feet, not the words from your mouth that matter. You know, like are we backing up what we say we're about? Does our behavior match our talk? Like that's something that I think this group has embraced, and I'm excited to see get lived out.
Mm-hmm. I know you've already been asked about it in the off season, but playing Northwestern week 1, how at all does that change any dynamics? I mean, do you talk about, you know, right away we're playing the defending national champions, and that's at home, a great opportunity.
Yeah, well, you said it. I mean,
yeah.
There's not much else to say about it, you know. But the schedule is the schedule. You know, we have to start out with having great practices and learning work ethic and learning how to keep our locker room like, hey, are our shoes facing the right direction in the bottom of the locker? If they're not, let's get that fixed, because if we can't get that fixed, we certainly aren't going to have, you know, the other things built into being prepared to play this schedule. The schedule's the schedule. Whatever order it's in is just the order it's in. At the end of the day, you got to play one snap at a time and give max effort on that one snap. And after that, if you do all the other things right, the bigger things take care of themselves. And I don't care who we're playing, the approach is going to be the same.
You still got to play all 10 GPAC teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Off of topic a little bit, but what's your favorite football coaching rant of all time?
Favorite football coaching rant? Oh, Mike Leach.
There's been some good ones.
Mike Leach has a ton of them.
Yeah.
The best guy to listen to. I think he was the head coach at Montana Tech. There's a lot of clips of him. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, so that's
Bob Green.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep. Yeah. Bob Green. There's also been, you know, there's a bunch of famous ones, but
Like
some of the more
Jim Mora.
Jim Mora, the playoffs,
Yeah.
and Coach Green, we let him off the hook. You know, Daryl, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, there's a lot of them, but you know, I think of the ones that I've witnessed in person. You know, you think of the you know, I tell recruits about when Coach Meyer got up on a desk and barked during Hastings week when I was a sophomore. And, you know, there's just always, that doesn't really count as a rant, and he probably doesn't want me saying that for the internet to see, but.
Or just long coaching monologues like Nick Saban. Sometimes he wants to make a point about something. Yeah.
No, there's some gems out there, but the most memorable ones are the ones that you witness in person, you know. And so we've had some gems here that weren't caught on camera that will probably live in my head. With Coach Mack and Coach Preuss too, there were some good ones.
Someday you'll be able to say, I'm a man, I'm 40, almost.
I'm getting there, not there yet. Yeah.
What should people know about
I
the
don't
headset
know.
app? Is this the first year, like you're
It's
using
actually-
it as a staff?
Yeah, it's actually,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to like, I'm the head football coach at Concordia University. I'm not anything else,
Yeah.
so it's not, the headset app has been, I went to a buddy with an, I was like, hey man, you wouldn't believe what I just got billed for, quoted for a headset system. And the whole thought process is there's got to be a better way with modern technology that we can communicate from the press box to the sideline. And certainly I thought there would be an app, but there wasn't. And so he knew some people, and then they told us how much it would cost to whip together an app, and we were like, well, that ain't gonna work because we don't have that. And then those people called back a couple weeks later and said, we get pitched a lot of app ideas, and I think you might have something here. And so I started an LLC, and it's just kind of it's actually something that's really exciting. It's fun to kind of see it come together. And I told our headset app team, like, I'm radio silent, once August hits, and so they've been awesome with that. We got a pretty fun group of guys that just enjoys working together, and including another alum.
Are they getting inquiries from a lot of college football programs?
We've had 1,000 downloads this month.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, headsets are a problem.
Yeah.
Like, so people, most people don't even know who they use. They don't even know, they're just like, yeah, so, I got here and this is what they were using, and we pay $400 every year to get them refurbished, and I need to buy a new set next year and spend way more money than I have in my budget. And so it's basically, it was hey, this doesn't make sense. This is a problem that is common for most coaching staffs in America. There's a solution. The technology in our pocket is more advanced than what we're buying, and we can deliver that at such an affordable cost compared to what the market is. And so it's been fun to see it kind of take off, and excited for the future of it.
But you're a football coach first.
I'm a football coach, so I have no desire to be in the tech world. I don't belong in the tech world or the startup world. I want to coach football, and I don't want to have to pay a fortune for headsets.
You won't be on Shark Tank anytime
You're not gonna see
soon.
me. You won't see me on Shark Tank. Maybe some of the other guys would want to go on there, but